What's up YouTube? My name is Chris. I'm a loan officer and I make videos basically to simplify the home buying process and also help you out with your real estate investments as well. Today's video I'm going to go over 3 ways you can invest into real estate and also give you some pros and cons along the way. The first way I'm going to talk about is actually your primary residence. I'm going to get a lot of crap from this to start because a lot of people don't think that the primary residence can be an investment, but I do believe that it's an investment. You know why? Because what is an investment? When you put time or effort or money into something and you expect to get more value out of that. That's what an investment is. And your primary residence can also be an investment. How is that? If you buy a house that may be in a decent location, but it seems like there's wear and tear on it and maybe it needs some repairs, then you buy the home and then you fix up the home yourself and you personalize it however you need to personalize it. This home, 1, is your primary residence, and then 2, it's going to appreciate in value and you're going to be able to create some equity into the home. What are some of the pros of this? 1, like I said, you'll be able to design your home. A lot of times people buy homes that are personalized to the last person that they bought it from, and you're basically just feeding off of whatever the person has. When you buy a distressed property or a property that you had to rehab or fix up yourself, you get to personalize it to your liking. So that's a great way to actually get started. Another pro is earning equity. I already said this. When you buy into locations and you actually invest into the location itself and not the home, when you fix the home up, it actually value and compare to the other homes that have sold into the area. I made another video explaining why location of the home is so important. So once you finish this video, make sure you check through that playlist and check out that video. A lot of great information in that video. And the third pro is you can convert into a rental. Whether you plan on staying in this home long term or selling it after maybe 3 to 5 years, you can convert this home into a rental. You've had already created equity in the home and maybe refinance the home and get the equity out, or you can refinance and lower mortgage payments so that when you rent it out, you actually create cash flow. So maybe the next home that you buy, you're using that cash flow that you created to pay the mortgage that you have. So it offsets those payments there so you can put money into other things outside of your mortgage. I talk about cash flow a lot on this channel. That's all you're gonna hear about because I believe that cash flow is the best way you can actually create financial freedom. So anytime I can throw out some tips into creating cash flow, I'm gonna throw it out. If it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. There's always some cons in some situations, so I'm gonna go over the cons of investing in your primary residence. First con is it's a long-term investment. If chances are if you're buying a home now, it's going to take some time to gain some appreciation, so you have to sit back and be patient on this. Con number 2 is you rely on future values. Depending on future value isn't that ideal, but offsetting this is the home that you're living in. So if you fall in love with the home and you don't end up selling the home, it's still the home that you grew up in. So I guess somebody say that might be a fair trade-off. Con number 3 is repairing the home itself. I did mention that you buy a home in a location that is distressed, so chances are you're gonna have to do the repairs yourself, and that can be stressful. Second way in investing in real estate is the Brrrr strategy, and I'm not talking about being cold. I'm actually talking about a strategy that's called Brrrr, and the acronym stands for buy, repair, rent out, refinance, repeat. And this method is very common. There's a lot of millionaires that I follow that do this method, and they make a lot of money with this method. And basically what the strategy is what it says in the acronym. You buy a undervalued property, you repair it, you rent it out, and then you refinance so you can get your money from the repairs back, and then you repeat the strategy again. What are the pros in this? 1 is you get your investment back after refinancing it. So chances are this home is going to appreciate in value. So if it does and you run a strategy the right way, then when the home appreciates in value, all the money that you put into the repairs and the cost of getting the home, when you refinance the home, you get it back. So you're not in equity jail like some would say for too long, and you'll be able to repeat this method. Pro number 2 is you buy undervalued properties. Repeat this all the time. When you're buying into investment properties, the goal is buying the location itself and not much of the home itself, because the location is what brings the property value up rather than the home itself. Pro number 3 is you earn equity and the home appreciates a lot faster. other than the first investment strategy that I talked about, usually when you use this strategy, the goal is to gain appreciation or equity within 6 to 12 months. And that's a lot sooner than the last method that I was saying, maybe 3 to 5 years. Cons in this is obvious. Repairs is stressful. When you're buying these properties that are undervalued, the reason the person is selling them is because the home was not well kept. The home is in foreclosure. A lot of things can come about in this investment. So, repairs can be stressful, like I said before. And if you're not, prepared to make those repairs or go through that type of stress, this may not be the investment strategy for you. Another common is homes don't always appreciate. You can't guarantee that just because the repairs you make, the home is going to appreciate, and that you have to do your due diligence and evaluate the property, evaluate the location, and decide whether or not the property is going to value higher than what the repairs are going to cost. And then the third con of this is double closing costs. Not too many people mention this con as well, but when you buy the home, you have to pay closing costs if you're buying it using financing. And then when you refinance the home, you're going to have to pay closing costs again. So that's 2 times the closing costs. And the third way to invest is by far my favorite. It's house hacking. And what house hacking is buying a multifamily unit and then living in one side while renting out the other. Now, one of the pros in house hacking is you can earn rental income on your primary residence. How can you do this? Well, when you're living in the home itself, it's going to be considered a primary residence, but it has an attachment on the side that you're renting out, and then that tenant is actually going to be paying you rent. So a lot of the time this can offset how much you're paying for your mortgage, so chances are you can live rent or mortgage free. Another pro is you can use first time home buyer programs. FHA has a great first time home buyers program where you can have as low as 3.5% down on a primary residence, and then on top of that keep their lower interest rates. This is great because usually investment property interest rates are higher than primary residence, and then as well as the down payment. If you buy an investment property, usually you have to put about 10 to 20% down. When you do a house hacking, you can actually go as low as 3% down, 3.5% down. Pro number 3 is if you choose to move out this home, you can keep the primary residence interest rate unless you choose to refinance it, obviously. But if you move out the property, you'll have 2 tenants in the property that are paying you rent. And on top of that, you'll have the interest rates that I mentioned before that are usually lower than the investment property interest rates. Now, although this is my favorite way to invest in real estate, it has its cons like anything in this world. And one of those cons are lack of privacy. I mean, if you're coming from living in an apartment, you're used to this, but if you've already owned a home or you always live separately, when you have a duplex or a quadplex or however plex that you have, there's a person that has walls connected to your walls, and you're gonna hear every noise that goes on into their home. Con number 2, you are a landlord. If anything happened, the tenant's calling you. They're not going to anybody else, they're going to you. Like if the tenant has a situation where they can't pay rent, that's the case where you have to come up with the rent or you have to pay the entire mortgage payment. So that's something you have to consider as a con. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Also, make sure you guys leave a comment on any questions that you may have about the mortgage process or the home buying process, or just leave a comment in the hole to get this page growing. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time.